Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, karibu sana. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you for always coming back to watch my amazing videos. Um, so today we are going to be looking at the period blood colors, yeah, and we are going to talk about the myths and the beliefs that people normally have in regards to these different colors. So period blood is not always as red. The color can vary, yeah. Sometimes this can confuse you, or sometimes it's gonna freak you out. So in today's video, we will be talking about the different period blood colors, some of the myths that surround it, and what, if anything, tells you about your ovary. Um, so let's start with the first period color, which is color black. So I don't know if this has ever happened to you before, but you go to the toilet and you want to change your pad or your tampon, and then you see the deposit on your pad is like black. Or you might see there is a black blood at the end of your tampon. It can be quite alarming if you've never seen it before, and you'll be like, did that just come out of me? Actually, that jelly-like substance that you see is just some old blood that's been hanging around in the vagina, and it just had a chance to clot and form a liquid in its gel state. Or it's the lining of the uterus, that is the endometrium, being shed during your period blood. That is the endometrial lining the uterine walls. You've no worry to see this if you are someone that suffers from heavy periods, because the endometrium can kind of break away in chunks. Then you can see this, and if you pick it up and rub it in between tissue paper, you realize that it is not actually black. It's really a deep red colored gel-like substance. So don't be scared to pick it up. It's coming out of you. It's not disgusting, and you can pick it up and have a look at it, yeah. The other time that you can see a black period is towards the end of the period. That is when the blood is taking its time to come out of the vagina. So the flow is slower, and that means the blood has chance to become oxidized and therefore turn black. So let's talk about some of the myths that are thought about black period blood. So it means that there is blockage in the vagina. That is the one myth, yeah. The black period blood does not necessarily indicate that there is blockage in the vagina. Medical causes of blockage of the vagina are much more likely to give you an absence of period or painful periods. The most common thing that can be blocking the vagina is a forgotten tampon. A forgotten tampon doesn't change the color of your period blood. It's more likely to give you a foul-smelling discharge. Black period blood is rarely anything to worry about. But if you notice that the clothes are particularly large, or you are starting to feel tired during a period, like fatigue, then do speak to your health practitioner. Brown period blood is just blood that's been oxidized, and you'll commonly see this at the beginning or at the end of the period. That is when the flow is quite light and the blood is taking its time to come out of the vagina. So it has a chance to combine with oxygen and then it becomes oxidized. It is the same case if you leave the nail outside and then it comes out rusty. You often see this brown period blood when you first wake up in the morning because you've spent long period of time lying flat, so blood has had a chance to slowly flow in the vagina and to collect. And so when you go to the toilet, you might notice some brown blood. Brown blood can be due to your normal period, due to bleeding after sex, because you have cuts or even from frictions in the vagina during sex. Or it can be even due to spotting in between your period. It doesn't actually tell you anything about the cause of bleeding. It just tells you that there is a low bleed and it is slow enough for blood to have enough chance to be oxidized and therefore to turn brown. The other myth is that this is old blood from previous month's period. The uterus is like it's smooth, it got curves, and the vagina is been constantly washed out with the vaginal discharge with fluid, and so this means that there won't be blood staying there for months, and wait until later. The other myth I've heard is that eating iron-rich food is going to make your period blood darker. So let's move on to a period color that you are more familiar with, and that is red. You will typically see this at the beginning or at the middle of your period, and it just means that blood is coming out with a steady rate, and it is not slow and hadn't had a chance to be oxidized. Another myth about period blood is because it's red, it's completely normal, and it's like, yeah, if your period is red, then it's healthy. So it's not that this is a myth. It's just that it can lead you to false sense of security. The problem with this is that there are other causes of red bleeding that can be mistaken for your period. Bleeding in between your period, which have different causes, can be red. It can be red bleeding after sex, which can be due to STI, and bleeding from ectopic pregnancy can also be red. Two myths that I wanna talk right here is number one, not all vaginal bleeding is a period. Number two, why red bleeding from the vagina doesn't necessarily tells you that the bleeding you are seeing is normal. So that's why if you have any concern whatsoever, you should be talking to your health profession, or that is your doctor. Pink period blood can happen if the flow is really light. So for example, at the beginning of the period, so this means that the blood is being diluted by vaginal discharge. That's also part of the fluid. Some of the myths that are said about pink blood is that the pink period blood means that you are low in estrogen. Do you know that estrogen is more likely to control period to stop than to change the color of your blood to pink? Also, Having high estrogen, such as when you are on the combined or contraceptive pills, can actually make your flow later rather, which means that blood will come out looking pink because it's diluted, or dark if it's oxidized. So essentially, what I am saying is that your period blood can be pink when you have low estrogen, high estrogen, or even normal estrogen. So this is an argument. Period blood can be purple. Ooh. Period blood is typically red, and that's because of the heme component of the hemoglobin in the red blood cells. Also, another myth that I've heard is that period blood can be gray. You shouldn't be having a gray period blood. You can have a gray vaginal discharge, which sometimes can be a sign of bacterial vaginosis. And if you want to know more about this, you can watch my videos on vaginal discharge and their colors. Another myth is that watery period blood means that you are anemic. Actually, in anemia, the color of the period doesn't change. If you have watery looking period blood, it's much more likely to be because it's been diluted by the vaginal discharge. One of the biggest myths is that the color of your period tells you something about your overall health. The color can't tell you anything about your overall health because it can be in so many different things. It's the flow rate, exposure to oxygen, or it's being diluted, and that's going to determine your period blood color. If the flow rate is quick, then the blood will exit the vagina quicker, and this will be red. If the flow rate is slower, then it will have more chance to combine with oxygen and be oxidized. Then you'll see it as a dark red or brown or sometimes black. If it's diluted by vaginal discharge, then it may be pink, yeah. So you can see the most of the period blood colors can be normal, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't diagnose yourself. If you have any concern about your period phase, please see your doctor. Also, if you have irregular, painful, or heavy periods, or even bleeding between periods, or after sex, or after menopause, or any sort of bleeding during pregnancy. What do you have to say up to that point? Bye bye for now. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Let's meet in our next video.